Hey, hey. No, forget I said that. Yeah, I love the memes. And we're creating our own Nostrica memes as well, and our own Nostr memes. And, I think a lot of really, really wonderful stuff is going to come out of this conference. That was the whole objective. None the least of which, how do we make some money? Or sats, in this case. And let's find out how to do that with an incredible panel. 5 brilliant developers within the space. You'll recognize most of them, but they'll introduce themselves one way or another, or I'm not going to do introductions just for the brevity of the situation. Let's get right into the panel of working with markets in Nostr.
Hey everyone. I'm P2X, or Patrick, and I'm a 4-month-old Nostrich and a 3-month-old Bitcoiner, I guess. And when I worked at getting my LN URL thing in my profile, I quickly saw the potential of doing a little project with my son, who's a musician, to sell his music. But I didn't know where to start, and so I figured I would ask some guys today. And that's pretty much the purpose. So I'm a technical guy. I can code, but I don't understand Lightning. I don't understand Nostr protocol. I can put together some pieces of relays or whatever, servers and so on, compile some code and run it. And I just wanted to spend some time, figuring out and understanding from those guys, is there some pieces I can put together to sell my son's music on Nostr? Which ones are they? What level of maturity? Is it difficult? Should I wait? Can I try something? And so that's pretty much the idea. Before we start and get those guys going, because then I'll stop after that, I wanted to see, is there some non-Nostr, non-Lightning devs here, but people who are sort of tech hobbyists and tech savvy? Yeah, they are. Okay. So music is one use case, but there's tons of others. Every has its challenge, I guess, and this is what we're here to talk about. So, question for you guys, where should I start if I want to sell some stuff over Nostr?
I'll jump in. So my name is Jeff. I think the best solution is actually no solution. So I think simply enough with Nostr, you can just jump on and put a note out that says, you have this thing to sell. You've got zaps. They're already built in. There's a little bit of coordination there, obviously, but there's a guy, Ben Justman, who has a winery out in Colorado, I think, who's been selling bottles of wine across Nostr, and he just, puts picture of the bottle up, says what the price is, he says zap me, and then DM me your address and I'll mail it to you. So I think if you were looking for the simplest possible solution, start with what you already have and that you don't have to build.
Yeah, but then there's one thing that comes to mind is, how do I trust the guy? How do I make sure he's going to ship it to me if I send him the sats? And then the opposite is true as well, If he sells stuff, how does he make sure I'm going to pay him? And how does that happen?
Yeah.
Go
for it.
So from my perspective, again, I'm not sure how many times I'm going to repeat this, but you don't need to trust the guy on the other side. You just need to trust the technology, I believe. So like you trust eBay, like you trust Amazon that the item is going to be delivered somehow. You are not trusting the seller. In reality, you are trusting the marketing, the big brands does. And the same for Nostr. You are not trusting the other guy somehow. You are trusting Nostr that your payment is going to be delivered and your item going to be delivered as well. That's it. That's my point.
Yeah, I mean, you can very easily socially shame somebody if I'm going to buy some music from someone, and then that's a good system. I just send them a zap, and then DM them my details for them to an email or something. I don't know, whatever I have to DM them to get the music. Or they maybe I suppose they would just DM me a link for the music. That would work even better, wouldn't it? When you send the zap, you would just automatically DM you. But yeah, it's a nice, easy solution. And actually, if they rip you off, it's very easy to go onto your Nostr client and say, this probably key scammed me, and there's some proof there as well. So I think that's a good solution. A reputation, yeah. Reputation is the huge part of any sort of market or buying and selling, which happens on Nostr. And I think people are actively trying to tackle that issue. But we could have like actual markets, like we built Nostr Market on LM Bits, which I demoed yesterday, and that works really well. But for the case of just selling music or selling bottles of wine from a local producer, then absolutely, like, just harnessing the power of the social media network is great. It's a good idea.
Don't trust the subs though. Don't just rely on subs data, because otherwise Ben the Carmen and Semisol, they're gonna get all your stuff for free.
But so, Ben, you've got some extensions, right? That would allow me to sell stuff.
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Nostr.
So we haven't the extension. I mean, we're releasing it this week, but I demoed it yesterday, and it kind of works okay. And then if you have an LM Bits, you can just go to the extensions where you manage your extensions. You can install Nostr Market, which I've got installed here. You'll also need to install an extension called Nostr Client, because if you have a marketplace running, because Nostr is client-based, then you need somewhere to go and retrieve an invoice from. So you rather than have, as a merchant, your device on all the time so it can retrieve an invoice, we have this always-on client in LM Bits. So if you have an LM Bits install, you can have this always-on client. So someone requests an invoice to pay for something, and the always-on client will then like send the data to the Nostr Market extension where it can create an invoice and then send it back. But by installing those two extensions, I did there's a really good demo of on YouTube for Nostr Market yesterday, and it's simple to use. It's easy to use once you've set up the client. With the client, you just have to select a relay. I've just got one relay here, and then once that's operating, it's fine. It'll work. And then in the market itself, you just it'll create you a merchant, and you have merchant keys. You can restore from keys as well if you want to, and then you have to create a shipping zone. That's the first thing you need to do, or shipping zones. Then you create a stall. So the idea is that we're trying to simulate like a marketplace. And in a marketplace, you have stalls, like vendors, little shops. And then you go to that shop and you'll pay for some stuff, and then you go to the next shop in the marketplace. And then the idea is that the marketplace is a front-end extension, and it can just pull in the public keys from all these merchants and pull in all their stalls with all their different products on. But say in our this merchant now is selling cakes. And then if I go to the market stall here, you can see the cake, which the product which they're selling. And if I want to add a new product to that, you could be selling a digital product, for example. Then if I go to the stall, the cake stall, I add a new product. And then I just put in an image URL, which I just got before. And then I'll sell some rainbow. Can everyone see this on the screen? Yeah, that's cool. Rainbow cakes. No description. What's a yum? There we are. Categories, cakes. So it's like a regular, normal web shop type experience. You could denominate in fiat for stability. You can denominate in sats if you want to, but if you denominate in fiat, it will do the conversion in the back end of LM Bits when they request the invoice. So I'm going to sell my cake for 0.01, and I got 20 cakes for sale. And I'm going to create the product. Now I've created the product. So then, because in the marketplace front end, this is a very dumb front end as well. So you could run this marketplace front end on like a github.io website or whatever. And it's just a template framework which pulls in product data. So there's no reason to attack it. There's no reason to try and censor it because there's nothing there until the user pulls in the product data. And you do that via the public keys. So if I go to market here and I go to merchants, there's the public key of the merchant here. But you could add other public keys if you want to, and then we'll also have lists of public keys. And then I was thinking we could probably do something with the follow lists in Nostr to get it automatically to populate like similar products maybe. And then you're connected to a bunch of relays here. So then if I refresh this, let's see if it works. Will I get my rainbow cakes? No, I didn't pull it in. There we are. My demo yesterday was so perfect. But then today it's not perfect for some reason. Yeah. Why did I risk it? I wonder why that is. That's funny. But yeah, it should. As I said, we haven't released it yet. We've got a few bugs we're ironing out this week. And this is one of those examples of one of those bugs. But if I that didn't render, so that's a shame. But if I go to visit stall, I can add that to my cart. And then I can go to pay for it and go to checkout. And then you can log in with keys if you want to as a customer. Because you might have some reputation. Because what I like about Nostr, I mean, you have it in traditional marketplaces, but you have reputation on both sides of the transaction. So the customer and the merchant has reputation. So you might want to keep your reputation as a customer and then log in using your keys. We will add the ability to log in with actually, I think it's already in here. You can log in with your signing device, which I'll be doing a workshop for later. But for now, I'm just going to generate a fresh set of keys, and then whatever. And you can put in your information, your shipping information. I'm selecting the shipping zone, and then I go to checkout. And then let's see if we get an invoice. Something's not right. I think probably it might be the relay which I'm connected to. So basically, the way this works is all the clients are communicating via the relay. So there's no get or post requests or anything to any servers. So probably I need to set up more relays or something in the Nostr client for it to work. So for a fully working demo where it all worked perfectly, then check out the YouTube video of the talk yesterday. So I think it's like 1 hour 24 on the Nostrica.
So I'll be asking
stream.
more dumb questions, but don't leave me hanging. If you have questions, just raise your hand, pass the mic. I don't want to be alone asking dumb stuff. But so I have to run my relay. I have to run.
No, you don't need to run a relay.
No?
What's cool about this as well is, you don't need to run a relay. You can if you want to. We have an extension for creating easily spinning up relays, which is also super powerful. And if you want, you could use that for your marketplace. But you can just connect to any old relays, and you're just publishing. They're just NIP4 DMs, so it's encrypted. Here's a bunch of products. The marketplace is subscribing to the public key. It gets the product list, and then it just lists the product list.
And where does the LNbit framework run?
The LNbits framework, currently I'm running it locally just on my laptop.
Okay.
And you can do it locally. So as a merchant, you could just run this locally. You don't need to have DNS or anything. And the customer can do the same thing. But if you want, you could stick it on some VPS. It's up to you. Or you can put it on Tor or whatever.
Raspberry Pi or whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, there's no reason you just can't run it locally. And that's what's the concept of being able to buy and sell stuff without having to have a server always online is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I think that's actually one of the really cool things about Nostr that takes a little bit of time to get your head around. If you're coming from a more traditional client-server architecture world, is that there is no server. You know what I mean? It's basically the relays are acting as the server in a sense, but they're not really. And because the clients, if they're smart enough and they know where to look and they know what they're looking for, as long as you're connecting to the right relays, you're going to get the data, and you can run that site on your laptop, totally disconnected from, not having a server really other than the relays that you're connecting to. So it takes a little bit of time to kind of wrap your head around that, but I think too many people jump to I better run my own relay because I'm building an app basically, which looks like a client-server architecture when it's not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Don't run your own relay if you can help it. It's a total pain. So
Well, I mean, in saying that, we make it very easy, the running of relays.
That's true.
So we have,
That's true.
so in this extension here, I know we're talking about marketplaces, but it's kind of relevant if you want to run your own relay and then run stuff through it. I can just go spin up a relay, give it an ID, give it a name, Nostrica, and then for this, I suppose you would have to have a DNS running or something, unless you're using the relay locally. And then if I click on Create Relay, there we are, I have a relay, and now it's active, and I can use it locally on this network. But if this was on behind DNS, I could also run it. And I've got multiple relays running here. And actually, someone in the last session, they were talking about paid services on relays. We have that built in. So if you want to pay for storage, you can add a paid plan option. So we connect to this wallet, and then we say that for cost to join, this relay is 1,000 sats. So you need to pay 1,000 sats and then enter your public key. And then there's a storage cost here for how many megabytes of data you want it to store. And then if we go into config, we can also, there's a bunch of NIP stuff in here, there's a rate limit, which I really like. So you could say you can only publish X amount of events per hour to stop spam. And then you can do filter staff and limits and all that sort of thing. And then in accounts, there's allow and ban lists. So you can add and allow and ban lists. So you could just have an allow list of all your friends and family or the people in your company. And it could just be like an internal relay which you're using. What's great about this for building stuff is all three of these extensions, they have these APIs which you can just plug into, and you can use it as part of your stack. So if you go to docs, /docs, and then look for the the extension, then you can see all the API endpoints in our Swagger docs here. Wow, Nostr Market's got loads. And then programmatically, you can connect to those and do stuff. And you can actually experiment with it just
So
in the API backend here.
You could build a more traditional front-end thing with workflows using those APIs. Basically.
Yeah, if you want to, you can make your own like front-end client or whatever. I mean, lots of people use our software in their stack. It's pretty powerful for that.
Ben, how are you structuring the data of the products and everything?
So we have a NIP on the Nostr protocol, but I mean, we need to do some work on it. I think I put a PR in somewhere. Let's have a little look, shall we? It's called NIP 45, because originally the marketplace was called Diagon Alley, and because of the Harry Potter thing, it's where they go to buy their stuff. And I like the idea that, like, with Nostr, like, it's like a town. Like, there's certain streets you don't go down there, or there's certain streets you do go down when you want things. And that's kind of like Nostr. Like, you choose how to censor yourself. You're not leaving that in the hands of some big corporation or government or whatever. But let me see if I go to PRs here. Is it in here? Oh, no, wait, there's a different... the repos, for NIPs, the repos changed, isn't it? Yeah, I go to the NIP, and then it's kind of awkward, this, as I always have to do this to find where I need to go. Here we go. And if I go to pull requests in here, I think somewhere in here we have NIP 45, Diagon Alley. And you can go in there and you can look at the data structure. The Nostr marketplace itself was made by one of the Elembits developers, Vladstan and Tal, and Vladstan was heavily involved in Bitcoin JS, really good protocol guy. Fiatjaf as well came in and gave some ideas for some of the data storage, the way in which we construct the JSON of products. So a lot of work has gone into like building like a decent data structure.
It's JSON and content.
Yeah, basic. I think it's a JSON. Yeah, JSON and content. Yeah. Here we go. Nostr Marketplace, NIP 45. And then, so if you go into that PR and have a little look at it, we need to do some work on it to tidy up a little bit, but it's all there.
So I'm curious. Generally speaking, that sounds like a really cool framework, and I think I'm going to try it. Like, is there other, aside from just through notes, no solution, this solution? Is there other solutions out there that will help me? Some sort of framework, help me,
What's super exciting about being here, this conference really reminds me of the first Lightning Hack days we had in Berlin. And there's this great energy. There's all these like builders and projects are running. And I just feel like so many projects are going to spin off from this conference. So a big shout out to the conference organizers for sorting it out. But yeah, give them a round of applause. But after I did my Diagon Alley, Nostr Market demo yesterday, I had like 4 different projects come up to me saying, we're building Nostr, markets on Nostr, and then how are you structuring the data, how are you doing it? And they're like, okay, cool, we'll just use the same thing you're using, and then all our clients will be interoperable, which is great. Like, it's what you want, isn't it? So you could have like, in Amethyst or something, or in Iris, you could have someone wants to sell some products, and then you go on their public key, and then you click on shop, and then it could just list the products, and you could buy through that client instead of having to go to a specific shop.
Ben,
Nicholas, you got a question?
One sec. Ben, I was looking at the NIP, the 45. So all the data is just on the content, right? How are you thinking with regards to sorting, for example, by price or filtering in some way, because it's not on tags, so you're not going to be able to ask the relay, give me category X.
Yeah, it is in there somewhere. Vladstan sorted out. So if you had a good look through the NIP, did you? Is there any way of sorting it?
Just now.
Oh, just now, yeah. So if you have a look in there, there is some options for that sort of stuff, yeah. But I couldn't say now. Go and have a look at the NIP.
Okay, Nicholas, go ahead.
One-to-one. Related to the data structure, I don't know if this is in this NIP or not, but the reputation is, I guess, the first thing that come out about, okay, how do we make this happen? And I guess I don't know if there is any active work on that, but the point of be able to make this marketplace and scale it is that I sell cakes and people, they buy it and they put 5-star. Right? This is what make Amazon a huge marketplace, is you can easily search and you find item where, okay, there is enough ranking here, I'm probably be okay with this buy. I don't know if there is any work on that, if something that maybe should be worked on, but I see the reputation as a main thing for this to take off, so I don't know if there is
Yeah, completely agree. The reputation's the key part of. I mean, it'll work for us a lot, you know, like the Nostr market stuff currently. But then if it's going to scale, we need the reputation thing to be sorted out. And I'm not sure how you do that. I was kind of thinking that you would have reputation, and then you would have like verified reputation. So there'll be some relay or something, or there'll be some verification service, which is like, yeah, this person is legit, and they've been verified in some way. So you might have like, you know, people spamming and faking reputation, which you get in like traditional marketplaces. Like, you know, if you go on Alibaba and try and order from a merchant, you have to really scroll through those that reputation and through those comments and see how many of them are legit and how many of them are just spam. But I think you could have some sort of verified reputation in there as well.
And I guess it's similar to Zaps. You know, like Zaps can be easily, I guess, fake today, and so there is this web of trust that need to happen. But I think for marketplace, it's even more important than Zaps, because this is how you eventually say, you know what, I'm confident I will buy this, I will receive the goods. And yeah, I'm super interesting to see how we do that. I mean, a use case for marketplace that I've been thinking quite a bit a lot is selling Bitcoin.
Yeah, this is local Bitcoins has been shut down. This is perfect.
Because a peer-to-peer market is what we need in developing countries for this to take off. And the biggest barrier is reputation for this to happen. So.
It could literally be that someone's maintaining a GitHub repo, and they have a file of public keys, and then someone says, I want to add my products to there, and then they like put a PR in, and then the community managing that list of public keys goes and checks them out, makes sure they're legit, you know, has a word with them, and then lets them merge, and then if there's any silliness, they get kicked off. Like that could be one way in which like you can verify that these public keys are probably legit sellers.
I think this is really, I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you could implement it. Like, I think there's lots of different possibilities, and I guess the community will sort of centralize on the one that makes sense, or like we'll get a nip and it'll make sense about how we do reputation. I think the really cool thing though about Nostr is like, if you think about, you know, Shopify stores, there's like tens of thousands of Shopify stores out there, and like if you as a buyer or them as a seller, like that reputation doesn't travel from one place to another. And so I think the nice thing about this is that it's portable reputation, just like portable identity and portable data. You know, the more you buy around the place, the more it's building up for all these different places, and it carries through to other, you know, stores or merchants that you might be buying from.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The challenge for that though is like, for instance, I'm thinking whether we should integrate this type of peer-to-peer into our wallet. Mm-hmm. But no, the thing is like, okay, how do you transport the private key from one wallet to another one? Mm. And if you start with a custodial wallet, then you can't really. You know? And so there is also a totally different topic that need to be solved, is key delegation or key transfer of ownership, which I think is maybe the other missing piece.
We've actually got a question from the web stream, and this is for Ben. Will people be able to host their own store on a domain name, or will it live only in Nostr Marketplace?
Yeah, you could put it on a domain name. Like you could put this. I mean, you could just have the marketplace open. And actually, if I wait there, where's the link? Oh, I'm in the relay. Sorry, I'm in the wrong extension. If I go to Nostr Market here, and then I go to Market Client, on the end here, if you put in the perimeters, public keys, then it will just open that stall. It'll pull in the data from that public key. So you could just share that link as this is my shop. So you could have a URL with whatever, and then when someone goes there, it could just have this, and it could just pull in the data and show them your shop. We're probably going to use it with Alan Bits because we sell a bunch of like hardware and stuff, and it makes sense that we have it on there. But this is just like the first client. You could very easily take this, you know, embed the public key somewhere in the JavaScript on a, you know, put up just a static HTML website, put it on some server behind a domain name, and then when someone opens it, it'll just list all the products from that public key. So it'd be easy to like run it just as your own shop with your own client on your own website. It wouldn't be hard to make. We could make it in like half an hour.
So, talking about alternatives, I think Mark, you've been working on something, right? You want to tell us about it a little bit?
Yeah, we are working on a actual marketplace. We are. Let's see if I can share it here. So we are participating to a tournament at the moment. I'm not sure how many of you know about Bolt Fun. And yeah, I've been making some research. There is dozens of tools they are trying to make and build marketplaces on Nostr. So what we are doing, we are trying to basically democratize or create an alternative for. Yeah. Oh right. How I do this? Technical issues.
Open with spotlight displays.
You know
Yeah,
what
did
to
you
do.
want to ask your question while we're waiting?
Oh, sure. I had a really quick question. Is it possible to do escrow transactions through Nostr Marketplace?
There's a project called LN Escrow, I think, and they kind of figured out some way of doing it in a like a. Do you know that
A
project?
HODL invoice. I've heard of it. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know all the technical details. Pablo's probably better off to talk about this, but I'll give the broad strokes. There is a type of Lightning invoice called a HODL invoice, where you basically are creating, you're starting the payment, but you're not completing it on the other side. And so you end up with this invoice where there isn't really escrow. It's like an approved payment, but it hasn't actually completed. And it can stay alive for some set amount of time. And the problem is it's not like true escrow in the sense that there isn't a mechanism for like both parties to agree that whatever was done was done. And there's a few other instances there. Go ahead.
Sorry, what's your
HODL
turn
invoices.
about?
Just tell them how HODL invoices work.
But what works?
HODL invoices, like the.
Oh,
he
but
was
are
asking
you
about,
talking
like,
about
escrow.
sub-auction?
Hmm?
Oh.
No, he was just asking about escrow with
Oh,
lightning
okay,
payments.
okay.
Technical support.
HODL invoices, you basically request an invoice, and when the Lightning node sees the payment coming in, it doesn't reveal the secret, which is what makes the payment complete. So the Lightning node can do something, whatever it is, and once that thing has been complete, it can reveal the secret, which is the settlement of the payment. So HODL invoices allow you to, it's kind of tricky, but HODL invoices allow you to do something before delivering, accepting the payment.
And is this as secure as escrow payments as we see on chain on platforms like HODL HODL?
Yeah, it is atomic. So yeah, it's a different model. Not sure how HODL does it. I'm guessing they are doing. They're probably doing when you take the payment. You probably reveal a secret on chain that allows you. Yeah, I'm not sure how it works, but I'm guessing you're revealing a secret.
It's like in real estate. There's 3 keys, and there's a moderator who has one of the keys, and it requires.
Okay, yeah,
2 keys.
that's even simpler. Okay, yeah, it's I mean it's a completely different model, but functionally it's the same thing.
Awesome. Thanks. I'll look into that.
Almir, ready to go? Yeah, sorry, no, it's fine.
So we're ready, finally ready to Guster. So this is, so I was saying before, kind of WordPress for people to allow people and creators basically sell stuff online easily. We are trying to do it open source. I mean, this is kind of 1 week old project, so this is an image, it's not even a website. The code is on GitHub at the moment. We are waiting for the alternative on Nostr on that as well. And basically, once you go there, it's a really simple prototype. Sorry, this is for if you want to join the beta. Nope. Let's see if I can show you the prototype somehow. But it's basically a marketplace, and there we go. I mean, this is the code. The actual code is on GitHub at the moment. There is no option to register. You can just go and create a simple product, upload an image. That's the current status of the product. What we want to do, I am building it on Figma. Let's see if I find
What is that solution called, Mark? You said?
It's called Goodster. So spell as it is, goodster.io, and most of the information is actually on Bolt Fun, because we are participating to the hackathon there just for fun, actually.
Yeah, nice.
You're gonna find here at the bottom the Figma, and let's see if it's working. Yeah, again, at the moment we are just a prototype on Figma. There is some code on on GitHub, and yeah, work in progress. If anyone want to contribute, again, we are creating an hosted version for people that doesn't know what HTML is, and we are giving the opportunity to anyone to install it in their own servers through GitHub. Again, kind of a WordPress WooCommerce on Nostr. That's what it is.
If you're looking for a guinea pig user, I'm in. So yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thanks.
I also did I think it was my second Nostr project, like a couple of months ago. Something that can loosely be thought of as a marketplace is ananoster.com, and it's basically like a Craigslist. So I don't know if it fits as a marketplace, but you can announce things that you want to sell, and people can reply. It's kind of interesting because the post kind is some number. I don't remember what it is. But replies to that kind are kind 1. So you can have a conversation. Like you can see a post, you can reply, and then you can continue having the conversation publicly on any demos or any app.
Actually, Jeff. Oh, cool. So back to the music example, would there be a way to set up a payment, kind of how royalties are paid out, like in the marketplace, like for a musician?
Oh, well, so, can I do the thing? I really like the look of this, by the way. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really nice. So like I quickly cobbled together a market for selling some music here. I picked an RE1 because it's kind of hippie music and we're in a hippie environment. It's good music. But in LM-Bits, one of the best things about it is we have all these extensions. And one of the extensions we have is one called split payments. So you can take a payment which comes into a wallet and you can say, well, I want X% to go here, X% to go there. So you can say, I want 10% to go to the music producer and I want 90% to go to the marketplace or something. So if I go to all here, I can go find split payments, and then I can enable that. So any money which then goes into this wallet could be split across the wallets of the different people involved, which I find really fascinating. You can also feed it LNURLs and LNURL pays, LNURL addresses, Lightning addresses, sorry, and it will send them there as well. It'd be pretty cool actually, maybe if we could add public keys and Zap support as well, maybe. But yeah, so this is the great thing about marrying these different extensions, and I think as well. I think because I just tried it then and it works. Let's see if it works again. I think if I check out now, and I'll just randomly generate a new customer. Let's see if this works. I think I should be able to generate an invoice, but I've got no way of paying that invoice. So if someone can pay the invoice, there we are. Could anyone see that invoice and pay it? It's only 1,000 sats. Come on.
Just a real quick question though on what the angle of the question was. Were you thinking more on the digital rights management, ongoing publisher royalty type things, or being able to do the split payment type stuff?
A little bit of both. Even within a DJ use case, for instance, if you could post a QR code and maybe just route a payment, a small percentage to yourself, and then split it to all the folks that actually made the song evenly, kind of to take out that middleman piece.
Yeah.
And just make sure everybody's getting paid instantly.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the split use case that he's talking about.
Yeah, I mean that extension was Fiat Jeff made DJ Livestream for Crypto Graffiti during lockdown. He did a set. And he wanted it so when someone paid the LNURL pay, if they paid enough, they would get a link to download the music, which is cool. But then also it would split the payments between the producer and the DJ. And then everyone in the community, the LM-Bits community, were like, this is super useful, we should just generalize this out, and that's why we made the split payments. So it actually came from the music example, which is a really good example. But there we could see that I was able to pay, someone was able to pay that invoice. It's a very elaborate way of me scamming sats out of people. And then if I go here, we'll see some garbage which shouldn't really be there. That's the DMs for the market stuff. And then I can say, send me the song. And then if I send that, then I should be on the merchant side now. I think I have to refresh, which is a bit poo. Oh no, I'm in the wrong extension. If I go to Nostr Market, sorry. If I go to my stall, and then if I go to orders, I can see, there we are. That was the other order which I made up, which they didn't pay. I can see that it's been paid. I can ship it. I can mark it as shipped. I can select the customer, who's not that one, send me my song, and then I can say, here's the link. That's a bit goofy. You could automate that process for maybe digital content, but you get the idea. I made an order, and this is all happening over Nostr, and then you're able to communicate between the customer and their keys, and then the merchant and their keys. It's pretty cool. And then you could do the crazy split payment stuff as well.
kind of got a two-part question. At TBC, we sell digital goods, so this works a little easier over a communication platform. So we've hacked together the way where we kind of send out like a Amazon card or a Uber card once you make a payment in our application, and you just send it to your pub key. But there's really no way to like provably, I think, know that the DM gets there if we're not connected to that client. So I'm curious if there's any like good ways to like figure that problem out. Right now we're using the Mutiny kind of extension that just kind of blasts it out to everyone. But I'm curious if there's a good solution for that. And then the second question is I'm curious how you see the evolution of these marketplaces. If you think the kind of chat-based solutions that are getting really popular will incorporate them into their own implementations, or if you think everyone will kind of just be, using a platform, running it on a website.
I remember FearJeff saying that he wanted, when LNT Export was still running, that he wanted diagonally in LNT Export. He wanted people to be able to buy and sell things from LNT Export. So I think on Telegram. So I think, definitely, it totally makes sense that there'd be like all these different clients and ways of accessing it. And I think that's where Nostr is really interesting. That permissionless development. It's like you can modify Twitter and make it how you want it to work, and then other people might also enjoy the UI which you've created. So I'm looking forward to seeing all the different clients.
For the DM piece, do you guys have any thoughts around like fully understanding if it makes it
If
to
I
its
can
own
add something
client?
on this, probably what Pablo was saying yesterday as well about micro apps and how everything is working by the APIs. I don't know if you want to go into.
I think it's hard, right? Because you want the client from the person receiving the DM to tell you that they got the DM, right? And that would be a signed message from the person receiving the DM. So the person needs to choose to sign that message. So you could argue that no.
It's one thing to like, I guess, prove it, but I think one thing I was thinking about is like, if we were to create our own relay and the client connected to it, then we can be sure the DM will at least make it to them. Whereas,
Yeah, but for example, Iris very heavily filters the DMs that are coming in. So you can see when the pub key is writing to a relay. You can infer. I don't think you can have guarantee that the person has seen the DM because again, the person has to sign, right? The pub key has to sign.
We good?
Hi, I was just wondering if you guys were aware of what is Nostr, the peer-to-peer marketplace over Nostr. Pablo, I think you heard about that, or?
Yeah, I've heard about it. I looked at the site and skimmed, but yeah, I haven't used it. Don't know exactly how it works. Like I haven't seen the specs.
Yeah, it was just for people to be aware that the LN P2P bot people ported LN P2P bot over to Nostr. So that bot was using Telegram, and now it's on Nostr, and it's basically what we were saying. Like the bot acts as an escrow. So you like run the bot as a business. Your business is to be an escrow, and people place orders via Nostr, and your job is to resolve those potential conflicts that happen. So, I mean that already exists, and it's actually built by a Costa Rican guy.
So we got time for one more question. We're done. There's one over there. While he's getting set up, I have a question. So who's going to go home and try some of this stuff? There we go. Yeah, everyone wants to get on that, eh? That's cool.
My question is, like, in terms of like the chat-based sales over Nostr, it seems like there's a security risk if people become too comfortable with that, with like encrypted DMs, and just like how it seems like even though you can't read the messages, you can kind of see them being broadcast through relays and stuff, and see which pub keys are talking to each other, if I understand that correctly. So like, would it make sense to have like some kind of like other chat protocol, like maybe Signal, like a way for like buyer and seller to move over to Signal to negotiate something, and then broadcast to Nostr that the product is no longer available? Any thoughts on that?
I think we totally need, because I made the NIP4, the encrypted messages, and it was like rolled out really quickly because I wanted DMs in the Twitter client at the time. but it's like the goofiest, simplest, crypto stuff. And like you say, you leak all that metadata. So if I'm, if someone's monitoring my public key and you're a cocaine dealer and I keep and these DMs are constantly going to you with your public key, and they know you're a cocaine dealer, they're like, well, maybe we should check out this guy because he's been speaking to him a lot. He's a lot of DMs going his way. And then I'm like, no, I was telling him to to not do that. It's not a good get into a different market. But yeah, no, we need something. We need a better. And there's a whole bunch of great proposals. Cocteau's got a great proposal for better encrypted DMs. And then maybe, like you say, there's some you share a secret, and then I don't know, you do it to one side, and then you have that communication. But I think it shouldn't replace NIP4. I think it should be like an additional, because I still think NIP4 is kind of useful. But yeah, there should be a better way of encrypting data.
Yeah, even within NIP4, you could derive a key. So the two keys that are talking, you don't know who they are. But yeah, there's I think it's just going to be improved. There's a funny thing that for NIP4, you can even see when other people are talking about you, because most clients will tag you if they add you. So you will see it as a message in your inbox, but you cannot decrypt it. So you can see who wrote the message that tagged you, and one of the pubkeys that are tagged is the recipient of that message. It's kind of weird.
Cool. Well, I think we're done. Thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.